Hello everyone. We, Dr. Delna Gugawala and Dr. Kashmira Gugawala, welcome you all to this introductory lecture on shoulder joint. Shoulder joint is a joint of our upper limb. The proximal most joint in our upper limb is the shoulder joint, which is followed by the elbow and the wrist, hand, and the joints in your hands and fingers. Now, the shoulder joint is one joint which will participate in any movement. So, if you're using your hand to pick up an object, or if you're doing some work with your hand, so you may be feeling that your hand is only working. But for the hand to function, it requires a stable shoulder. So, the shoulder is a base on which your hand functions. Hence, the shoulder joint participates in each and every activity that you perform with your hand, and its stability is very important. Hence, strength of the shoulder is very important for you to have a normal function of your hand. Now, the shoulder joint is a joint unlike other joints in your body which have only one or two directional movements. Shoulder joint has multi-directional movements. So it has movements in the front direction, it has movement in the sidewards direction, it has oblique movements, it has rotatory movements. So it can go in any direction, unlike your other joints in the body which generally move only in one plane or two planes maximum. The shoulder joint is a multi-planar movement. Now, because the shoulder has such a vast variety of movement, it is also going to be subjected to degenerative changes when we overuse it or use it in the wrong manner. Hence, it is very crucially important to understand which are the right movements for the shoulder, which movements should be prevented and avoided to avoid injury to the shoulder, and how you must strengthen your shoulder so that its health is maintained, so you can use your upper limb freely for all the activities. Now, in this introductory lecture, we'll just have a brief overview about the anatomy of the shoulder, the muscles around involved in the shoulder joint, and the capsule of the shoulder, how these structures when affected give you multiple shoulder problems. One very important point which I would like to mention before I start the lecture also is that the shoulder joint is constantly under stress, but we generally don't realize that is until and unless the stress level reaches to a high intensity and a high level of stress, and when there is actually an injury, do you realize that something is wrong with the shoulder. Until then, there are micro traumas which keep occurring to the shoulder which go very much unnoticed, and we will be talking about that in today's lecture as well. But just to highlight this point, that the shoulder is constantly under some amount of stress and micro trauma because of our day-to-day activities, and that later on accumulates over a period of time to give you major shoulder problems. Yeah. So now we'll just have a look at the joint structure. The shoulder joint is a ball and socket variety of joint. Now, what do I mean by ball and socket variety is that the humerus, that is this bone of the shoulder which participates in formation of the shoulder, has a round architecture, and the shoulder blade, which is behind the shoulder blade, has a cup-like structure. So the ball goes and fits into this cup-like structure. So hence this is called as a ball and socket joint. And this ball and socket variety, the variety of the joint is ball and socket, and because of this variety of the joint, the shoulder joint has multi-directional movements. In our body, the other joint which has this kind of an architecture is the hip joint. But the hip joint does not have so much of movement as the shoulder joint because its ligament, capsules and all hold the hip joint tightly in place. Whereas that is not true for the shoulder joint. The shoulder joint has a surrounding capsule around it which is very lax. Okay, it supports the shoulder, but it's a very lax capsule, and hence it allows this multi-directional movement to the shoulder joint. Now, we go on to what happens to the shoulder joint. Now, one more thing before we go to that. There are many small muscles which are around the shoulder joint, and they pass through the shoulder joint, and the most important of them are the core muscles of the shoulder, which are the rotator cuff muscles. Now generally when you talk about shoulder, you will talk either about the deltoid or the biceps, which is around the shoulder, the big muscles which you can see. But these rotator cuff muscles are very important structures in the shoulder joint. They are deeply placed muscles in the shoulder joint, and they are called as the core muscles of the shoulder. Like how you have core muscles in the abdomen in the back, similarly you have core deep muscles in the shoulder as well. These rotator cuffs are generally not attended to by us, and these muscles are the ones which undergo slowly a process of weakness, right? How we will have a look at it over here. Now, the shoulder joint undergoes cumulative trauma. Now, what is this cumulative trauma? Cumulative trauma is repeated small injuries which are happening to the shoulder. I'll just give you an example, is that when you pick up something from the upper shelf of your cupboard, at that time, repeatedly going for this overhead activities, if our hand is not in the correct angle, sometimes the cloth is here, sometimes it's here, so you move in multiple directions and sometimes wrong positionings happen. Because of these wrong positionings, these rotator cuff muscles which you see pass through the joint, they start getting compressed in the joint, and slowly they are undergoing little trauma every time you are stressing this joint in a wrong position. Now over a period of time, when this muscle goes through this trauma, there tends to be a little bit of tear in these muscles. So they start having very micro tears in their structure. These micro tears in their structure lead to their weakness. Okay, now initially, as I mentioned, that we never concentrate on strengthening the rotator cuff muscles. Because of the weakness of these rotator cuff muscles, which are the core muscles, you tend to go into wrong patterns of movement, which causes cumulative trauma, means repeated small trauma to the joint, and this in turn causes tear in these muscle tendons, the rotator cuff muscle tendons, which in turn makes them more weak, and this cycle goes on continuing, okay, to ultimately give you either a rotator cuff tear or an inflammation in the rotator cuff muscles, and then the shoulder pain starts. Once the shoulder pain starts, what happens is we start using the shoulder less. Like if this movement is paining you, you will avoid that movement, and avoiding the movements will make this capsule which is around the shoulder joint start sticking to each other. So the capsule, which was nice and lax and freely openable, now becomes stuck to each other. It's folds, it has got folds, and these folds tend to become stuck to each other, and the capsule loses its laxity and it does not open up. When this capsule tightens over a period of time, slowly you go into the phase of frozen shoulder. Now in frozen shoulder, what happens is, now not only because of the pain that you are avoiding the movement, but the shoulder becomes stiff, because now the capsule is not allowing the shoulder to move freely, and then you have restricted movement, so you cannot move your hand freely to its full movement. This is frozen shoulder. So these are the main problems which happen to the shoulder, which are happening in our complete unawareness, and we end up with the frozen shoulder. And when we have the frozen shoulder, we feel, oh yeah, we have a problem, but this problem has started long back because we have not attended to the rotator cuff muscle strengthening. Even when you go for gyms, when you do heavy weightlifting, etc., you're not targeting these muscles at all. You're only targeting the superficial muscles. These deep muscles go unnoticed and unstrengthened, and they cause the cumulative trauma, ultimately tear, and which then finally leads to problems like frozen shoulder. This is one part of the problems which occur with the shoulder joint. Another very important thing which occurs in the shoulder joint is the arthritis of the shoulder joint. Now the shoulder joint is not just made up of this ball and socket, but if you see these processes which are around the shoulder joint, there are small joints which are formed between these small processes also. One such important joint which is formed is called as the AC joint or the acromial clavicular joint. Now this acromioclavicular joint is basically a joint which is formed by from your clavicle bone, which is this collarbone. It goes and attaches and makes a joint with one process over here, which is known as the acromio process, which is the process which is coming from the shoulder blade. Now this joint is the first joint which in the shoulder starts becoming arthritic, because whenever we do an overhead movement, these bony components tend to touch each other. Okay, and then slowly the cartilage which is there in between them starts getting, it wears off, and then this joint undergoes degeneration. Now degeneration of this joint is again gone very much unnoticed, but a very simple way for you to know whether this joint is healthy or no is that you just take your arm across your body like this. Okay, and when you do this, you're actually causing a compression in this joint, and if the cartilage in this joint has already started degenerating, you will have pain. That means the acromioclavicular joint has started degenerating and there is arthritic changes which have started in this joint. Slowly these arthritic changes progress to the whole shoulder joint, and the shoulder starts becoming arthritic all over, and the bony smooth surfaces lose their smooth appearance and they become roughened. The muscles start getting pinched by these roughened surfaces, and the whole shoulder becomes arthritic, painful and stiff. This is another important problem which happens with shoulder joint over a period of time, but we can always prevent it right from the beginning. And there's another one very important thing which happens in the shoulder is sometimes these capsules are lax, and the ligaments which surround the shoulder joint for its stability, they are lax, and they do not hold the shoulder, the ball and socket properly firm in its position. So a little trauma will cause the slip of the shoulder and the shoulder will undergo dislocation. This is common when somebody gets an electric shock. When there is a jerk on the shoulder moves out of its position, and this is called as dislocation. This is another very common thing which happens with the shoulder joint, and again this can be well prevented if the muscles which are now here, you have to strengthen the superficial muscles which are around the shoulder, that is the deltoid, the pectorals which surround the shoulder. So the strengthening of these muscles will prevent such episodes of dislocation even if you undergo some traumatic episode with the shoulder. So dislocation is another common problem, and another issue which happens with the shoulder is labral tear. Now labrum is something which is between the joint. So the socket has a covering of a cartilaginous substance which is known as the labrum. And this labrum, especially when this happens more with the sports players, when they injure their shoulder in the game, the labrum tears. Like how you have cartilage tears in other joints, similarly the labrum of the shoulder also tears, and then it gives clicking sensations in the shoulder. So whenever you're moving the arm or something, there is a click that you hear in the shoulder. That means there is a problem with the labrum. This also can be well prevented with strengthening, and of course if you already have this problem, then the treatment is physiotherapy for its strengthening, improving the circulation to the labrum and healing it. So this is what we are going to cover in our shoulder joint workshop, mainly concentrating on the prevention, strengthening of the muscles, and also concentrating on these problems, that is rotator cuff tears, frozen shoulder dislocations, labral tears and arthritic shoulders. So hope to see you all in the workshop. Thank you.